Everyone, it says STANSBY or STANDBY.
Nice.
Just wait for a few people to come on. Can you keep it?
I'm
Don't go.
going to put it on private, Brian.
Oh, that's all right then. Calm down. So we ready to go? Yeah.
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah. So we're here today with Paul STANSBY.
Yeah.
Paul, can you give your credentials? What you're about?
All right. I'm Paul STANSBY. I'm a podcaster. I come down today. It's just sprung on me. I come down today to see Brian to do a podcast with him. Absolute real deal. No messing, no joke. This guy is also a gentleman, and I've had absolutely amazing fun down there. Hostess for the mostest. I've had tea. I got offered bacon sandwiches. I've seen their amazing dogs. Their home's beautiful. Like, just beautiful people, you know.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, mate.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Paul, it's got a story. Obviously, he's going to come up, but he's anti-nice the same as us. We've got our anti-nice, and he's got his places. Can you explain what?
Yeah, so I set up a charity because I lost my brother to the streets. My brother was wrong place, wrong time. He was stabbed once by four people, and I say stabbed once by four people. He was stabbed by one person, but he was set about by four people. Unfortunately, we lost him. And for me, that was just like Brian is to you guys, such a strong public figure to me. He was my dad. He was my brother. He was everything that I am today, you know, and I wouldn't have been without him. So losing him was such devastation. Really caused me to go in myself to find out who I am, to be able to put myself back out there, turn this negative situation into a positive by spreading a message of knife crime, you know.
Did you go through a period, Paul, because my brother committed suicide through he'd been raped as a kid. We didn't know that, and he was on drugs and all sorts of things. And we said, "What are you doing on drugs?" And we used to go mad with him, but we didn't know the story. Obviously, he'd been raped and everything, so he committed suicide. But I blamed myself for a long time. Did you ever do that? Yeah,
I still, even today, I'm still struggling. It's been 5 years. February the 8th just gone. We've been with his anniversary of his death, and I do find a lot of blame because whenever he was in trouble, if I was ever in trouble, we'd always be together and sort this situation out. But this time, it was completely out of our hands. You know, with this, it was again wrong place, wrong time. You know, so just four people felt that it was right to make the decision to take someone's life that day.
And there's still a Paul for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, well,
was it a bit of beef or something?
No, what it was is my brother, he did have a problem with drugs, you know, and he'd gone. The person who he'd normally get his drugs from, he'd been arrested. There was no drugs there, so he then found another line, a drug line, so he can go and get his drugs. Yeah. So he was a new face to the drug line. The rumours had it that this drug line had been tipped off that they were going to get robbed by another gang that was there. So when my brother turned up to the line to get his drugs, they automatically thought it might have been him. So that without asking, they just set upon him. Right. So it was mistaken identity, wrong place, wrong time. Right. He felt the brunt of it. And
did the perpetrators get caught?
Yeah, that was a lot of hard work. I put in some groundwork on that. Of course, like when it all happened, I thought like how I used to think, how you used to think. You know, revenge was key. I literally went and see my mum. From that point, I knew that I had to go and kill four people.
Right.
You know, and that was the mentality.
That was the mentality then.
Yeah, that was the mentality then. Yeah, and this was before I found myself. You know, like I'm going through the stages of how I would think, how you thought back in the day. You know that. You've took my brother's life. I have to take your life, and that carried a lot of guilt because I wasn't there to save him. Yeah. Even though he was my big brother, I was always there, you know, and it was really hard for me. So I went for 7 days. I went on a rampage to go and look for these people. I come close, very, very close to these people, and the police managed to catch them before I did. But there was a massive manhunt on for these guys because they knew that if I'd have got to them before the police did, it would have been carnage.
Yeah, so looking back, do you think, looking back at it, it's hard, isn't it? Because you can say, if I'd have done this, and if I'd have been there, if I'd done this, you'd done that, you beat yourself up, don't you? Have nightmares on it. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and think, and you'll wake up and you'll think, I'll just go and see you, Peter. or you'll probably see your brother's name and you think he's not here no more. And it took me, when I first got told he took his life, I went, "You're lying, you fucking liar." I'm screaming at them, "You're lying, you wouldn't do that. You better stop telling lies." And screaming at me. I couldn't accept it. And somebody said, "That's because you couldn't."
It's funny you say about the screaming thing, because that was one of the things that I did. You know, when I found out, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't cry. I couldn't nothing. I was just screaming. I was like, you know, and I know that would never have brought him back. And I know that, you know, I'm so mixed with emotions, because I'm thinking, if I would have been there, he wouldn't have been dead. You know, if I would have done this, if I would have done that. And, you know, the universe is a powerful thing, you know, like it's not a case of what we could have done. I feel like that day that these people made the decision to take a life, and I don't think it would have mattered whoever it was that day that turned up for drugs. If your face wasn't recognised to them, they had the full intention to kill someone.
At the wrong time. Sad, really sad. So what steps have you done now to counteract that, to help other people who understand that knifes are not the right way to go forward?
Well, I mean, about a year and a half after I'd lost my brother, I started focusing on the way that I was treated by the criminal system, by people in society, by charities, things like this, to be able to help my brother's children be able to get through it, you know, and to help the families of everything that happened afterwards. You know, a lot of people don't understand, but the devastation that comes from being affected by knife crime, being affected by someone that's been taken via murder, is so extensive that I don't think there's nothing in place. So I started seeing loopholes in the system of where they were failing the victims. And when I say victims, I mean the family of the people that have been taken. And from that, I set up a charity, me, myself, and Jamie Hart, my cameraman who done the podcast with us today. We set up the charity to be able to help raise awareness with what we were doing, and we target our area, which is the main area where we're from, to try and help the gangs, you know, get on, stop carrying knives, you know, drug dealing. And it is very hard, but it's really rewarding, you know, because it's working. The things that we've done over the years, like setting up charity events, helping kids get into gyms, you know, educating them, going into colleges, going into schools, doing the podcasts with people like yourself, you know, people that people will look up to as being such a big figure in the underworld, to be able to sit here and say, none of it is worth it. You need to stop it now before you fuck the rest of your life up, you know. Sorry for the language.
No, you can swear, because that's what it's all about. But the thing is, what you're doing, your brother be sitting up there now, he's in heaven, he's proud of what you're doing, and my brother's the same with me. But we can only help people because we were broken then. So now we've fixed our safe. That's we were broken then, now we're fixed. So we're trying to fix other people who are going down the same path we were in. We were lucky, never got killed. I should have been killed 1,000 times over, as I've said this before. But I've been lucky to be staying here now. I'm helping the kids up to date and whatever by the knowledge we know, and you're doing the exact same, Paul. But
do you think with the way that we've, do you think that the way that we've managed to survive the times that we have skipped death is because our purpose was now for this reason, 100%. To be able to help educate the next people, to be able to wake up and just see the devastation that's being caused from this, not just to other people that you're doing the damage to, but to yourself, because without you understanding the damage that you're causing to yourself, if you end up having kids, you can't take them to Disney World. You can't go abroad to some places. You can't get the job that you want to get. And we said this in our podcast, didn't we? You know, of being able to, you're ruining yourself and you're not even realising it.
And the thing is, once you take someone's life, like we said in the other one, you take that life and you take that life with you for good. And you might feel good, I've killed him, I'm a big tough guy in jail when you're 20-odd-year-old, but when you get to late 30s, 40s, all that guilt comes back on you, all that you wake up with nightmares. And you also got to remember, you're going to be in an 8x12 cell for 25 years. So you've taken your own life as well as that person's life, and all your family, you would see your kids, your mum and dad might not even make it before you get out of jail, so you're not going to miss all the times, all the Christmases, everything. So you're not just taking your life, you're taking all your family's life, all that person's family's life, and the person you've taken, and that person you've taken his life, you will regret it. Believe me, I've spoken to many people when they're in their 50s that every single one of them regret killing someone, and then all every day they'll pray to God, say, forgive me, and then it comes back on your bike on the backside.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky nowadays. I mean, I say we're not so lucky. Like we're struggling to see our children grow up. I mean, my mum never ever had children to be able to lay them to rest before her, let alone being taken in a way of such a horrific way, you know, of knife crime, just murder. You know, you just wouldn't do it. And there's kids today that ain't even making it to 16 years old. I urge anybody to put a challenge to their children. Yeah, for 1 week, spend 1 week and put them in your bathroom for 1 week. They sleep in there, they eat in there, they live in there, they exercise in there, they drink their drink in there, they go for a toilet in there. Stick them in there for 1 week. Just set the challenge to them. See if they can do it. Because if they spent a week in the bathroom and they can't even do a day, that's exactly what prison's like. Just give them a little insight, and you can do that in your home, you know, just help educate them and make them feel like they're in a cell for a day.
Yeah, that's brilliant analogy. It's really good, because just lay in the bath type of thing as just the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
There for a week. And just
your toilet's right next to your bed. If anything is next to your head.
It's the exact same what he said. It's the exact same type of size, really.
Just you put that analogy out there,
Just sit in that room. Even if you sat on the toilet, I'm going to sit in here for 25 years. If you're in the, it's just, that's what it's like. It's been in there. And when you go to jail, guys, listen, it's frightening when you go to jail. When I went to jail for the first time, I was like, oh, it's the unknown. People tell me, oh, I'm not scared about jail or not. You are when you first go, because you don't know what's going to happen. You're going through induction, you're going through, and then there's people stabbing each other with knives, with plastic toothbrushes, with shanks. It's a horrible place to be. You end up on drugs in there. It's not a nice place to be. Jim.
That's how my brother ended up on drugs. Yeah, he first time he'd done drugs, hard drugs, was in prison. You know, he got that in prison, and that's where his addiction come from.
The boredom, you're padded up with someone who's taking on. Have a go. Then you get on it, and you have one go, and you have two go. Next week you hooked on it, and then you have to rob people. You have to do whatever you're selling. You trading. I've seen kids selling the tradies off their feet just for a £2 bag of smack in jail. I've gone back and got the trainees for them and paid the people for the money, but it's terrible, isn't it?
And out on the street, you're out being the man that you know, you're bad man that you're thinking you are, to only get you in a place where it's not really rewarding. No. And you'll find yourself, you have a fight with someone here on the street, you'll not see them probably for a couple of weeks, probably ever again. But you have a fight with someone in prison, you've got to see them every day. That stuff doesn't go away. So it's dog eat dog. I mean, why would you want to put yourself in that position, you know?
And then you've got like gangs on your door open in the morning. We talked to Yami B, another great kid who did a lot of jail.
I love Yami, yeah.
He's a great kid. He said the same. He said when you're in there, then you tap some people, whatever. You can't just hide in your house, lock the door, whatever. You've got a big dog in your house, whatever. You're in there and your doors are open, and people sometimes straight in. They put sugar in red hot water. They'll throw it on your bed or your face because it sticks to your face. It's like napalm. So you're in there, that environment, and you're in a different world then. So you being the big man outside in your gang, you haven't got your gang with you. You're in there on your own. So you've got to adapt to that environment. And it's a frightening place to be, especially for somebody who's only 20-odd year old.
Yeah, and we got a mutual friend, Liam Ditchy, and he turned around and said, he quoted to us once, you're so fast to do 25 years for your friend, but you won't do a 9 to 5 for your family. Yeah, that was powerful. That hit me. I was like, wow, that, right. You know.
He's a really good lad.
Yeah, absolutely true.
He's in and out of jail most of his life, did loads of jail, but he's changed his life around. He's got a job. He's working on the railways. He goes to work, works hard. Like he said, when you're working for your money, it means a lot more because you broke your back working all day. But when you're selling drugs, you make money quick, but you spend it quick, you give it away. You won't have made $5 grand, you won't buy a new car, a watch or whatever. It just lasts 2 minutes. You're buying
your friends, you're buying your respect, you're buying your loyalty, and when it comes down to it, you go to jail.
Nobody sees you.
Then no one sees you. No one's coming to visit you. No one's writing to you. No one's giving you the money like they claim that they're going to. You are truly on your own.
What you are, really, I was the same. I used to go out, I'd take 20 people out drinking on the weekend, spent $5 grand. Went to jail for 3 years. It was 2 people sent me a few quid in. A few lads from Hartlepool and a few of the travelling lads come to see me. But no one bothered me when I got out of jail. I didn't have a pot to piss in because it had all gone.
Yeah,
it doesn't last and all, because when you're making that type of money on drugs and that, people all want to know, oh, hey Brian, can I get one of them, mate? Can I get one of them to go? Then people don't want to know you because you're just a mug, really, and what you're doing. Yeah, and there's no good stories. I don't know anyone with good stories with drugs. It's always either in jail for the rest of their life, stabbing someone, or being killed themselves.
Yeah,
the graveyards are full of people who's selling drugs and they want to be the big cheese and all that. The police, listen, I think there's something like 27 satellites. As we are sitting here, they can be watching everything we do and everything you say. You've got your phone there. Your phone goes through all them satellites. They've got they can track you anywhere that you want in the world now with the technology. They just sit at the computer at home or they sit in an office. And they're all watching now. He's going to that house and he's going to that one. They're writing it all down, typing it all down. Then they'll hit you. They'll nick about 50 of you in a big drug ring and get caught and you're doing 100 odd years in jail.
Yeah.
And we've seen it time and time again. And then when you look at it, it's all through the phone. You can have one of them. Can you get me one of them? And all these phone calls and texts, everything. They put it all together in place. They catch you. And no matter how much money you've got, you're getting 20 years in jail. You leave it, say, your wife or whatever, and then they end up nicking off with someone else, and then they won't wait. Who's going to wait 25 years for you in jail? Not going to happen, is it?
Nah, fast money. Fast money is not the right money, you know. And to top it off, like, you know, you like I said earlier on, you're buying all of your respect. You realise that you haven't actually got the respect that you feel like you deserved, and that, you know, you'll only get that by being right, by connecting with your people truthfully. You know, we said it earlier on. You was in prison with 3 guys. They said it was 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds,
2 seconds each.
2 seconds each person for the action that they put forward to kill someone, and between them collectively 75 years. 75 years for
6 seconds.
6 seconds, yeah.
So when I told them, they went, and the screw said to me, "Man, that was brilliant what you just taught them." He said, even the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. They went, 25 years for 2 seconds. What's 1, 2? You're going to jail for 25 years. Absolute insanity. But if you don't carry the knife, you won't be able to use it. If you carry a knife and you end up getting into a drink, you get into a fight with the rage, you'll pull the knife out and stab someone. But if you haven't got the knife, you can't draw it out and stab someone. So don't carry knives. You don't need them, guys. Honest. All those big, I'm a tough guy because I've got a knife. No, you're not. You're a coward. And people carry knives can't fight because the cowards so carry knives. If you could fight, you just have your hands. You know, sort out with your hands. And but no, they have to carry knives. And when they're doing it, like I said, carrying to show off, you're not looking good, are you? You're not looking good. You're not looking good.
No, it's fake rep. You know, it's a fake rep. You know, like you think that you're gaining respect because you'll walk down the road and everyone's going, "Oh, you're right, you're right," and you're bibbing. People are bibbing, and that's out of fear. You know, and there's a big difference between learning your respect being out of fear and being for real. You know, because when you're on your ass, the real respect comes and sees you. It comes and helps you. It comes and makes sure you're okay. You know, the fake respect is if you're hurt, they're actually laughing about it. They're like, good. You know, you deserve it. You know, you can't go through life like that. And unfortunately for me and Bryce, he had to live a whole life of what he was doing before he realised that goodness actually brings correct respect. And for me, I had to lose my brother on the back of this for me to be able to realise that what I was doing, which is exactly what we're talking about. You know, I've been there. I've done a lot of this stuff. Committed serious acts of violence. And thinking that it was going to get me places, it was going to be, I was going to get loved, I was going to be this and I was going to be that. And it wasn't until I lost my brother, someone that I thought was completely untouchable, that made you realise you're not invincible. No one is invincible in this game, and everyone is a target. And the more that you live in a way where you feel like you're untouchable, you become a victim to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and the only person that can pull you out of that is yourself. You need to have an understanding that you know, you need to make a change today before it's too late.
Not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. Today, right this second. If you just, like you would say, if you hang around with people who sell drugs, you end up taking drugs. If you hang around people who carry knives, you end up stabbing someone, killing someone. And that's all it is. If you hang around football, you become a footballer. You hang around with bodybuilder, you become a bodybuilder. So the friends you choose are what you become.
Yeah,
show me
your friends of yourself.
Show me your friends and I'll show you what you are.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, mate. I couldn't agree with you more on that one. You know, and we need to be able to realise what's going on with our children as well. Start recognising, you know, what's happening around them, because it might not be them. They might just be the kid that's standing there in the crowd. But joint enterprise now, your kid might be standing there. If a murder happens, your kid's brought in with that.
Can you remember the one from I think it was Nottingham, Paul, where his cousin said, "Can you nip me to the kebab shop?" And he nipped him to the kebab shop. And two of them went in and stabbed the guy to death. And because he gave him a lift in the car, he got 25 years as well for being in concern, it's called. Yeah. So it was because of the lads, the black guy who got stabbed in London. Maybe you remember him? He got killed and they brought the law out. I can't remember his name now.
Damino?
No. It goes right back. the night, I think it was the 90s, he got stabbed to death. There was about 20 of them stabbed him, killed him. They were laughing about the police and put bugs in the pool room where they were playing everything in the court and all. Was it Llewellyn, I think?
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence, yeah. Yeah, I think it was him, Lawrence Llewellyn, something like that he was called. They actually killed him and they brought the law then, because what they used to do in them gangs would be 20 people jumping you, but that's tough, innit? 20 on to 1. That's really tough, innit? I'd read, 20 on to 1, ridiculous. And then they stabbed him to death. So what happens? One will put his hand and say, I did it. So the rest will get off. But now, if there's 20 of there and you kill that man, all 20 years go to jail for
joint enterprise.
Yeah, being concerned. Yeah. So you get caught. So it's not worth it, is it, mate? It's just
no, it really isn't, And a lot of people, guys, I know, like, when you see, like, you've been framed, you get your phones out and you film someone falling over, it's funny and stuff, and I get that. Yeah. But this whole fighting thing, you're adding to a real vicious pot, because you imagine if you sit there and you recorded someone getting their face smashed in and you put it on social media, you're going to get the likes, you're going to get the views, you're going to get the comments, you're getting the algorithm that everyone seems to be running for these days. But can you imagine that that's your kid, your brother, your sister that's having a hiding and they're recording it? Yeah, how would you feel? Because I guarantee you'd put your phone back away. You got to stop glorifying this thing, and take it to a ring. Take it. I'm not saying don't fight. I'm just saying don't use weapons. Don't go 20 man on one. You could have a straightener. You can go to a gym. You go to any local gym and turn around and say, I have a problem with this person. That we need to sort out a fight. They'll give you the 3 weeks training or whatever, and then you go and have the fight. And it's solved. Problem done. You'll probably end up being pals at the end of it.
I know with when you have a fight in the ring, like all boxers like Kelbrook and Khan the night, they're not two tons of shit out of each other, but then they're best of friends, and that's what happens when you box. But when you stab someone to death, you go to jail for life and you killed someone.
There's no way that you can get away with murder. Not now.
No.
Not now.
They said to me before the police said, one thing you can't get away in this country now is shootings and murder. They will not stop relentlessly, until they get you, and they will hunt you down, they will catch you. There's no way you can kill people and get away with it now. The technology is exponentially massive. It's not really the police that have got cleverer, it's the computers, it's the cameras, it's the public,
ring doorbells,
the public, the phone up. I mean, we live in Middlesbrough, there's more cameras per person in Middlesbrough anywhere in the world. We're really a little tiny little town. So you can't get away with things. You've got cameras in taxis, you've got cameras everywhere, bus stops,
buses as well.
Buses, just everywhere. So you can't get away with things. We used to we'll go and have a fight on the beach, but these people are fighting in the street with knives, and you're going to go to jail for a long time. Just put that knife away and stay. I'm not hanging around with them. Get yourself a nice job, get yourself in the gym, train, keep healthy. You don't need loads of friends. I never had no one. I had a couple of friends when I was a kid. And I got on with them, we're still friends with them to this day. You don't need to be in a gang. Why do you want to be in a gang? Does that make you hard standing in a gang? We used to be in gangs, but we weren't in gangs fighting, but we played football. We'd be playing games like tennis. The tennis would come out, we want to be the best tennis player, and cricket would come out, and then the football would come out. And we played them type of games. Kids now would just think they're watching too many of these movies where they're in gang stabbing people, and it ain't good as it, mate. It isn't.
Yeah, that's the same. When I was saying about people recording and putting them up, World Star and stuff. These pages are really good. I mean, people blame social media, but without social media, we wouldn't be able to put the message that we put out. We wouldn't have met the way that we met. So social media is very powerful, but at the same time,
it can be very dangerous as well.
Very much so, yeah.
So really, it's good and evil. You can use it for good, you can use it for bad. But yeah, this is.
But if you're mentally, your intentions are evil, social media is going to be a platform where you're going to thrive on. If your intentions are beautiful and you want to make the change and you want to stop people going through the same pain that I've had to go through, what Brian's had to go through with his brother, and it can really be beneficial for us to be able to get the message out there worldwide, but unfortunately, we do have some people out there that are using the platform to be able to gain notoriety and respect and cause the problems and create the beefs. But just remember that one day you're going to have a child, and your child's got to grow up in a world that you're a product of making.
Yeah, and then it can come back on you saying that's such and such's son, he done this and done that.
Yeah,
that comes on your kid then, doesn't it? It's not just you. It comes on your children. What you've done, he killed that man, he stabbed him, he's a coward, and he done this, he done that. So then the kids get bullied. off through the families. It just never ends, doesn't it? It's just a vicious circle.
And if your ego's big enough for you to think that no one would ever touch you, no one will ever touch your family, no one will ever target your children, no one will ever come for you because you believe that you're so bad that you're unstoppable. Believe me, you're naive because it happens.
Read the papers every day of the week. Where we live here, there's somebody stabbed nearly every day of the week in Teesside. We're only little. Imagine like it's like where you live in places like London. That people are getting killed every day of the week. Every single day, somebody gets killed by a knife rambo. There's a blanket over it. They don't want you to know how many people are getting killed because it's exponential all over. It's going up and up and up. It's like infinity on beyond. It never ends.
Yeah, I mean, we target schools and stuff, and we get messages from parents all the time that, on our knife crime page, which would be Lucky Anti-Crime Foundation, and we get messages all the time where we get parents saying, "Oh, my kid got threatened to be stabbed," and you know, we've gone to the schools and we've retrieved knives from 10-year-old. We retrieved a 7-inch blade from a 10-year-old girl who took it in to stab a boy after he shoulder barged her the day before. You know, so this is the stuff that, you know, you send your kids off to school thinking that, oh, they'll be at school, you don't even pay no attention to it, they're going to be safe, there's teachers there, there's not. Trust me, there's kids in your kids' school that are carrying knives and they're being taken at knives because schools are not allowing us to go in to raise awareness because they're afraid that their Ofsted rating will go down and they can't get the funding because all these schools, I don't know what it's like up north, but have you got academies up here?
We've got schools, we've been into school talking about knife crimes, the teachers loved it. We went into one school and we got a phone call saying 3 of the kids is going to stop carrying the knives now, just so you can help. Even if you can help one kid, you're doing good. But we're going into schools all the time. I've been doing a lot more now. And I'm going to be on with the mayors, 2 mayors, one from Hartlepool, one from Middlesbrough. We're trying to do the machete. I think, why do we need machetes in this country? Unless you need them for a special job, which you'd obviously get a badge to keep it. Why do you need a machete? Most kids now will watch somebody. I'm going to get my machete. I'm going to chop it up. There was 2 in Middlesbrough the other week got caught. 15-year-old with a machete. He's going to chop somebody up just because we're arguing on the computer with them. So the machete, you don't need it because you might need it in other countries to cut banana trees down, you might need it for jungle, but you don't need machetes. And same as knuckle dusters. Why does anyone need a knuckle duster? The only reason that you run a knuckle duster is to hurt someone with it, put it on your hand and make serious damage and kill someone with it. So they shouldn't sell them, to ban them.
Well, there was a petition that was created to be able to stop zombie knives. You know, it was one of the most fast-growing, popular knives to be able to have. If you never had a zombie knife, you weren't really anybody on the street. So it was very beneficial for people to be able to have a fashionable knife, which is really crazy if you think about it. Like, to think a knife would be fashionable. Yeah. So what they've done is a petition was put to it, and the zombie knife got banned from the UK. You could not buy a zombie knife in the UK. Now, I've just started noticing that they've started selling the zombie knives again. But it doesn't say zombie knife written on the side of it. It doesn't say zombie. And that's how they've managed to be able to overlook, to be able to sell. Yeah. It's just take the name off of the knife. The blade is the same shape. It's the same size. It's causing the same damage. And all they've done is took off the word zombie to be able to resell it.
Well, what they should do is say any knife in this type of shape, form should be banned.
100%. 100%.
But that's just a loophole. There's some smart lawyers that shame on him. And they've got away with it, haven't they? And people are getting killed with these. You know, they're only for one thing and one for another, to make damage to the human body, to kill someone, and that's why they. Imagine there being a company that just make a knife so all the kids will buy it. Yeah. How sick are these people? How sick are these people? These knife factories that were making them. Just fair enough, you make knives to make your bread and things like that. It's different. But these knives are made to penetrate the human body and kill people.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're made. You know, why else would you have a fancy knife that's sharp? You know, like, to be able to do it in a way where, you know, like we've said earlier on in a conversation that we had, I remember, like, you know, a friend of my mum's here used to have like samurai swords on the wall and stuff as ornamental. Yeah. Now you guys are literally buying these knives, sticking them in your trousers and throwing away the stand. They're no longer an ornament anymore. No. You see it as an object to be able to cause destruction. And guys, what must you be thinking when you're picking this up? Because it literally takes 2 seconds to lose your life. That's whether you die or whether you end up going to jail for collective 20 to 30 years, you know, and this is real. Like, they're making you serve full sentences as well. Yeah. It's not as if you're going to get 20 years and be out in 10. You know, you get 20 years, you're serving 20 years. If you're 16 to 20 years old and you've just been given 20 to 30 years, what do you think your life's going to be when you get free? You've got to sort yourself out to be able to deal with the outside world again. You've got to learn it all. You've then got to learn how to find someone to accept them in for you to be able to possibly have a child at that age, to be able to carry the legacy of your name on. You know, get a job. You'll never be able to get a mortgage. You wouldn't be able to travel abroad. You'll be under life license, so your restrictions are great. Like, all for what?
Yeah, out here there was something like 20 people in 1 year. I can't remember what year it was. It wasn't long ago. I think there was 20-year sentences for about 10 or 15 to 12 people, I think it was, and the others got 33 years recommendation. Some of them were only 18, 19-year-olds.
Wow. 33
years recommendation before you can get parole.
That's crazy.
One even videoed the lad after he stabbed him and chopped him up and cut his face off and everything. And videoed, he got 35-year recommendation, rightly so. It was evil intentions, but videoing stabbing someone, killing someone, just not right. And that's only a small town, Middlesbrough.
You know, and you guys, when you're doing this crime as well and you're recording it, you pretty much, and to still think that you'd be able to get away with it after recording yourself do it,
yeah,
is crazy.
That's like, what they did exactly that. They've done it, and they've got the phone and so stab him, cut him up, and he said, "No, you're not videoing. I can't see him properly." How sick in the head they people? I'm sick to the video a man getting killed and he was dead. They were still cutting him up and stabbing him. It's really, really bad. I just can't contemplate how the brains think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, be able to, I know what it's like to lose a brother to knife crime, but to be able to witness that and view the death would be absolutely horrific. I mean, you know, since I've lost my brother, I've put all the negative to a positive to be able to keep pushing forward the message. I said, but at the same time, I'm creating a positive. I'm suicide watch on my mother. You know, my mum is her firstborn baby. You know, when you bring a child into this world, you don't expect to say goodbye to it, like I said earlier on. But this is my mum. My mum had him very young.
She still had bad days.
Yeah, mate, she's an absolute mess. I say that when my brother died that day, my mum did as well, because I don't recognise who she is now. You know, and this is the after effect. This is the trauma, and this is what doesn't get out there is people are not realizing the ripple effect that comes from your mum, your brothers, your sisters, everyone that's affected by it.
My mum's mental health went down when my mother was when he took his life, and she's never been the same. You know, she's been really poorly with her mental health as well. She's had a stroke and everything through it, and that was all through my brother being taking his
my stepdad. He had a stroke the next day after he found out my brother died. He had a stroke the next day, so I totally get the stress from that. So, you know, the devastation is so extensive, it's unreal. You know, and like I say, I lost my mum, I lost my sister that day. You know, my sister and my brother were like best friends, and you know, she slipped into drink. They really did do a number for a split second that day that they choose to take the life. They really have spent. We're serving the life sentence. It's us.
Do you still feel angry, Paul?
Yeah. You know, a good friend of mine, Michael Emmett, he turned around and said, I mean, you probably know Michael. He knows Shane and that. Like, he's a real top guy, and he was talking to me about forgiveness. And you know, I said to him, I don't think I'm ready to accept that forgiveness in my life. You know, because these took someone so special away from me without choice. I don't think that they have the ability to be able to be forgiven. And he tries to explain it to me, but, you know, I'm not so sure on that one. You know, I'm like right now, I know they're locked up. There's nothing I can do. And I'm doing better things now because of it all, trying to help raise the awareness to try and protect these young kids, try and stop these kids from dying, try and help educate parents to stop their kids from carrying knives and just looking out for the obvious, like, oh, if I had 10 kitchen knives in my kitchen and there's only 7 in there, they're going somewhere. You're not just mistaking them. If you know that you no longer have 10 knives, it's because your child has took it outside, you know, and probably to protect himself. And a lot of these kids, they're taking knives. Well, they're carrying knives, so I've got to carry one just in case they pull it out of me. But you've got 50%. That's half the chances of you being stabbed with your own knife.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody else said that. The chances are you take the knife out, you get it took off you, and they stab you with your own knife. Yeah, it's happened that many times. It's happened in Thornby a few times where people have been killed. But the thing is, if you haven't got that knife, your life's not at risk, and neither is anyone else's. So it's just showing off.
And when you look at the statistics and they say, well, I've got to carry a knife because they're carrying a knife. If you've got 50% chance of survival or 50% chance of death, if they're carrying a knife, run. you're not a coward because you run. But then if you've got 50% chance of taking that knife off them, take it off them and run. Don't use it on them. Don't sit there and be like, well, he was going to do it to me, so I've now got to do it to him. If you get the chance of having that knife off, just leg it, because you're saving his life, you're saving yours, you're stopping trauma to your family, because believe me, no parent wants to bring their child up to go out and commit offences this way to cause a devastation or even put their life. I never brought my kids into the world to be able to watch them die because of I'm teaching them that it's okay to carry a knife. I'm not being aware of what my children are doing. As I said, every 10 children, 2 are going to be a victim of knife crime, whether it's they've killed, they get killed, or they are around, somehow around. That's 2 out of every 10. I have 10 children. 2 of my children, I've got to come to realization that 2 of my children out of 10 of them are going to be affected by knife crime. And I've got to live with that. So I now put things into place. And don't be that person that stands on the side going, oh, this person's got a knife, this person's got this. What are you doing about it? Because you joining us and joining the message to be able to help prevent knife crime from happening will truly save lives a lot faster than just one person on a mission, you know.
And another thing that the parents have got to sometimes check, like you said, because we did a talk, and there was a policeman and a social worker there in one of the schools, and the policeman said, you wouldn't believe they'd have them camcorder things, whatever they have on their head, but that on the technology, it was a body cams, and they're on the bikes, like the police will ride on pedal bikes up here. And they'll go somewhere with their kids and they'll say, my daughter wouldn't do that. So they'll go, just watch this thing. And they'll put it on the tin and go, oh, they can't believe the daughter's that bad, or the son, they can't believe. And I'll cut your head off, I'll smash your face and I'll stab you. And they're like, they're shocked.
A lot of people are just assuming we are talking about boys, but really girls
as well.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and like I said to you, the 10-year-old that we took the knife off at school that was carrying a 7-inch blade, that was a girl. She was going in to stab a boy that shoulder barged her. Like, what mentality is she been told that that's okay? Like, where is she viewed that that's okay to, I know, he pushed me, tomorrow I'm going to bring a knife into school. That barely fitted in the school bag to be able to go and stab this boy, where he's 10 years old. The knife, a 7-inch blade, you would go all the way through. Why would you be thinking like that's okay at 10 years old? You know, it's just,
doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't.
And to get where they've got that from, it's beyond me, you know, to think, oh, he's pushed me, so I'm going to stab him to death.
Life is education, and it really is. It's all about, you know, knowledge is power, and believe me, if you create the knowledge that of what your children are doing, what they're up to, what they're surrounding themselves in, you can save your child's life. And for you to sit there and think that it will never happen to you, believe me, I was in that same position, and what an eye-opener it was when I got kicked down off my high horse and I realised that you're not unstoppable. You ain't too powerful that no one will touch you. There is no fear out there that would make you bypass any time that you would not get affected by knife crime.
See what I think we should be going to the grassroots. The kids that are, like, say, 9 to 11, going in them schools, the primary schools, and teaching them what knives can do, what drugs can do. I think there's so much you can learn them. When I go and we teach the kids what knives do, and we ask any friends who have knives, do you know anyone carries a knife, to put their hands up, and we talk to the kids. I mean, my wife have done it quite a few schools, and we've got brilliant response off them. But I think if you teach them at an early age, people say, no, get them off the stony path. No, don't let them go on that path. Before they go on that path, and they're on that path to crime and on that path to carrying knives, teach them before they get on that path. It's no good when they're 14, 15-year-olds and they're selling drugs and making money from the drugs and what, made £100 here. They're making more money than their mums and dads. So they're not going to go for a work and get a job. So they'll stay, tough me, I'm making £100, showing off the girlfriend, buying them stuff and everything. So it's all that shiny objects and all that stuff is just an illusion, because at the end of the day, they either get killed or they're going to get caught with the drugs as well. So don't go down that path. Don't get them before they go on that path. We need to get in the schools and start speaking to people like yourself, Paul, like myself, going to school, teaching the kids what it does.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I'm going to reiterate what he's just said and echo that back out there. You know, when you sit there and you can go to a job that will earn £300 to £500 a week, you're grafting for it. It's your money. You haven't got to worry about the police. You ain't got to worry about being attacked. You haven't got to worry about being robbed. Now, you go out and you go and sell drugs. You might be making £1,000, but that extra £500 that you'll be making, that comes with the fear of being jumped, fear of being killed, fear of the police, fear of going to jail, fear of having your house raided, curtain twitching, everything else. But I promise you, that extra £500 that you make on top of your legal £500, yeah, to be able to gain your respect, you will spend that on bollocks.
Like that.
You'll spend it on bollocks trying to make yourself look fly by buying everybody drinks that no one cares. Of course you're going to accept a free drink and you're going to get a hello and a handshake, because the next time I see you, I'm going to shake your hand because I'm going to get another free drink, you know, like all fake respect. So, you know, go legal, go legit. Do your thing, be pleased, be someone that you could look in the mirror and be proud of, you know, and just know that whatever it is that you're doing, when you do have children, or if you do have children, they can look at you and go, yeah, Dad, you had it hard, you struggled, you really, really grafted, but I love and I respect you for that. You know, you're saving your child's life because they're going to follow you. They ain't going to be going to the streets.
Yeah, because when you see what you see at home, you end up doing on the streets. My dad's doing that, my mum's doing that, so I'll do the same as them. So they become the product of what you've done. So then the next one goes on, generation after generation. You'll be the first one to stop it now. Stop today.
Break the cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Stop it and stop that now today and think, I need to get myself right here. What these two guys are talking about, right? The thing is, once you've lost that child, it's gone. There's nothing, no way of getting them back. They're gone. You wake up and you're like, you're crying, you know, for no reason. You think, but it's because you've lost a loved one, like Paul said. And it stays with you the rest of your life. It never goes away, the pain, no matter what. It's every day that I think about my brother. I always keep thinking, I went there. I seen him on the Tuesday and he died, I think it was on the Friday. I thought, oh, he's all right, and this and that. And you go through all these analogies and you go on and on forever, but it's not your fault.
And you know what it is? The other thing as well with just life in general is, you know, the last words that me and my brother had, you know, we had an argument, typical brother argument, you know, but the last words, it was like, oh, fucking, I don't want nothing to do with you no more. I did not know that that was going to be the last thing I ever said to him. If I would have known that, I would have never have said it, because believe me, if I could cry about anything, and, you know, I'm a grown-ass man, if I could cry about anything, and, you know, we all do, and anyone that says that they don't cry is a liar, or you're cheating yourself, you know, and like I say, if I could cry about anything, it would be the last words that I'd chosen to say that day, because I'd always think I'd have another time to be able to see him, give him a hug and say, we good, yeah, we're good. But I can't anymore. I've got that. So, you know, I urge you, to anyone that you've fallen out with or you've had words with, do not leave it on that mark. You know, be the bigger person, whether you're in the wrong or not, and just make sure that they're fully aware that you do love them and you are sorry, because once that's taken from you, you will not get the chance to do it again.
It's like all the people you might have felt, your older brother or your sister or your mum or your dad. If you don't go and see them, if they do pass away, you'll think, for the rest of your life, you'll regret it, because you haven't seen them when you should have seen them, and you can't go back in time because it's gone.
My biggest regret in life is that. Yeah. You know, not appreciating whilst we're living, and we're all guilty of it. You know, we're all guilty of this thing where we should have done more. You know, we go to the funeral, families meet up with each other, you take phone numbers and go, we should stay in contact. You know, the next time you're going to see them family is at another funeral, you know, and yes, everyone's got their own life and they're busy and they move on and they do their things, but, you know, a hello, how are you? Every now and then it will save someone, you know. You know, and it's very important. You know, I knew my brother was my brother, and I knew what I do now, to the extent of what I do is really extensive. You know, all my spare time is taken up with my charity, driving across country to do podcasts with people to help raise the awareness. But when I was sitting next to my brother, when it counted, when it was picking his final clothes for his coffin, when it was picking his final songs, his favourite colour, I never went out of my way when he was alive to find this out about him. So when it really mattered, when I'm picking his last outfit, his colour for the balloons, his colour for the banners, you know, I knew none of this. Now, why did I know more about my friend that I was fake than I did my own brother, the person that I spend my life with? I knew nothing about them. So it's very important that you really pay attention to what you've got in your life, because, you know, everyone's chasing this money and they're chasing this thing that they class as, I need money to be rich. As long as you're breathing, as long as you've got health, as long as you've got love and respect in your life and you're willing to give as much as you get back, you are rich.
I think you've got to be content as well. Sometimes you get these people, I want a big Porsche, I want this, but you know what, I've had them. You know what, it's just a car. If you have £1,000 car, if you have a £100,000 car, it still gets you from A to B. There's no big difference. Oh, look at me, I'm in this big. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
He's in a big range. It still gives a shit.
You'll get more jealousy from people than you would do respect when you're driving your cars. And
well,
you as an ego think that car is.
Just because you've got a big goal, I've got a Rolex watch, 20 grand, I've got I had all that rubbish, and all the others, just an object, it's a gold chain.
Yeah.
Nothing doesn't mean nothing, it's a chain.
And you're lining yourself up to get robbed.
Yeah, it's just absolute nonsense. All that stuff, well, I'm going to get a gold chain, I'm going to get £300 training, I want a £300 tracksuit, mate. You can get an Adidas tracksuit, 50 quid, it's just as good.
Yeah.
You know, but these people are obsessed with it. I've got to get £300 shoes, they'll go and spend a full week's wages on a pair of shoes. They might only wear 2 or 3 times, just madness.
Yeah.
It's not all about what he's got, she's got, he's got, I've got, all that crap. Forget about what the Joneses have got. Just get on with your own life. Live your own life the way you want to live your own life. Don't live there, oh, because she's got a bigger car, I'm going to have to get a big one. Forget about all that and stop all that jealousy because it just eats you away.
Yeah.
And it's like no one died of a snake bite. It's the actual poison. You get bit on your foot and it soothes it. That jealousy starts seething through your body and she's got a better car than me, she's got better clothes than me. Oh, forget about all that rubbish. Jealousy is a horrible, horrible thing as well.
Yeah, very much so, mate. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. So what have you had any good thing? I'll tell you a quick one here. I went to get a tyre for my car. And I went to there's a garage not far from me, about 4 or 5 miles. So I goes down with Manioc, my mate. And anyway, he changed the tyre. He went, I said, "What you mate?" He said, "Oh, your money's not good here or something." I went, "What's the matter?" He said, "I'll just tell you a little story." He said, "My son stabbed someone in school, 15-year-old, in the leg with a knife." He said, "I got him to watch your documentary. He's gone to college and he's won Scholar of the Year at college." Wow. By watching your documentary, you've saved my son's life. He was tearful as well. And I was getting a bit of a lumpy folks. I was like, "Oh, brilliant, I've done to help this kid." And that is great. And he said, "Oh, tyres for free." I was like, unbelievable, you know, but just couldn't sat by. I think I've done a great thing just because he's watched a documentary about don't carry knives and don't do it. He went to college and won a scholarship, the biggest, whatever it is, award he won at the university. College and just to sit back and think, they've saved some there. Have you had any stories like that?
Yeah, I mean, when we done a lot of our charity events, so there was one that we'd put up. We'd been asked to coincide with the local library on a troubled estate, and we were working together with them, and we set up an event, and they had an event that was based on mental health, and they were doing their thing, and we come in with the knife crime and the gang culture. Well, we decided that there was no relationship between police and cons on the street, like kids that are getting into trouble. And that was a real issue for a lot of the kids. When they saw the police, it was a negative. They just looked at it, they looked guilty. There was like harshness coming between the two. So I decided to, me and my team decided to set up a basketball tournament at this event, which drew in thousands, absolutely thousands of people. And we had the police v cons. So the kids can build a relationship up with the police to be able to, if they saw them, they could be like, "All right, no trouble," just have that sort of, rather than it be so negative all the time. Because a lot of you people, when you be hating the police and stuff, but if something happens, to your mum, to your sisters, or anything that's serious, your house gets burgled, first people you do is call the police. And
I got that mentality, like, the police are horrible. When you think about, you crash your car, the police come, drag you out of the wreck, you fall in the river, you get drowned, they'll dive in the river and save you. So they're not all bad people, not all police are bad. We've done things at the schools with them, and we've gone with them. The police have been there, social workers, and we've helped them. The kids, look, they're not all bad guys, and they've changed the way of thinking, because your house is a light, the police will turn up, they'll kick the door and save you. So but they're not all bad guys. You get good and bad, and every single job you get good and bad. But the most police officers just go to work, make a few quid. Same as screws in jail. You go to jail, and them screws, I fucking hate them. No, whoa, think. You committed the crime, right? If you committed the crime, then you've got to do the time. And at the end of the day, the screws never put you in jail. You put yourself in jail. So you've got to say, wait a minute, these people who keep getting sit in the block and they can't do their own jail because they can't do it. They can't, like you said, you can't sit in that toilet all day, like a bathroom. You can't do it. They're done in frags, so they get put in the block. Yeah. But if you're going to get in trouble, one day you're going to get caught. You might do it for so long, you'll get caught. And the average bin man who works, he makes more money over the 10-year period than you do, because you're going to jail all the time. Yeah. And that person who's making 300-400 quid a week, they've got a safety, the house is paid for, the bills are paid for. They might not have a top of the range car, they might not have the top of the range house, but they're happy the content what they got was, and they live the life and be content and say, having to Jesus, with Jesus is the way. We say, me and my wife were Christians, and just be generous to people and help people. You don't have to give them money. You see somebody struggling with a bag, shopping bags, you know, do you want a hand or open the door for someone? Just be polite to people and have manners and courtesy. It goes a long way, especially in my year. It means a lot to people if you help someone, if somebody's struggling and put a tire on, help them to pull over and help them. It's not always about yourself, you know. And when you go to bed at night, it's be positive thing. I'm going to have a great day tomorrow. But you get people that get out of bed, stub the toe and go, it's going to be one of them days. So then, because you're looking for a negative, you'll find all the negatives.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a gas bill. Everyone gets a gas bill. Yeah. Oh, I've got a puncher. Oh, everyone gets a puncher. So you can't look at the negatives, because if you look at negatives, you just drain yourself down and down and down like a battery. Just drains it. But when you think, oh, it's only a punch, I'll fix it. And here's another one. Oh, I've got to go to work tomorrow. Be thankful you've got a job.
Yeah.
Be thankful you've got a job to go to work. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very important that when you do wake up and you start your day on a positive, like, you know, like he said, you know, you might have to get up early, but if you're tired, it's because you stayed up too late the night before. It's just learning how to adjust yourself to the quality of life that you're allowing to have yourself, you know.
Well, look at you today. What, 4 o'clock you set off?
3:30 this morning, set up to come down here just for the message. You know, and the message. When you see the podcast, you'll see that the message is pure, just like it is here today on Brian's one. You know, that
I'm just saying, Paul, how people think you just sit on here and do it. It's hard work.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's so draining. I get like say 20,000 messages, and I try to answer everyone. My hand's bad, and I'm like one finger I'm doing it with. And I've got a lot where I've said the same thing predictive all the time, but I always try to help everyone. And then people go, "Oh, you never text me, Brian." But there's been 27,000 messages in one day, and you're like that. 4 o'clock in the morning, talk to people, and then there's messages, and then some people get upset. But we don't mean to do it. We just haven't got the time to do every single message. Yeah, and if you think about like some of the things that I do with like the podcasts and stuff, I first started off podcasting victims. I still do victims now of knife crime and stuff. So you imagine that I'm going through the trauma. I've not even grieved or anything yet. I've put myself in a position where I need to be able to get the message out there to be able to make people realize the damage, so they don't feel how we feel as a family, which is literally destroyed. Now, every time I do a podcast, I'm listening to how, you know, that they've killed someone, or they've used a knife, or their children have been stabbed. The mums, the brothers, the sisters, everyone's podcast that I'm doing. Now, this is damaging me. Every single time I listen to a story to help get that message out there, to help save your children's lives, the next generations after that, this is destroying me even more, and it's breaking me. But I know that I'm here to be able to put that message out there, so I'm willing to take the sacrifice of the pain so your children can survive. You know, and a lot of people never ever look at that, because I put myself in a firing line to be able to. Sometimes you can take on too much, Paul. Have you noticed that? Where you try to help everybody. People, oh, you haven't helped me. I've done 30 phone calls today. I've done 30 messages. Get well soon. I love you to bits, and you're exhausted. We're going to bed sometimes 4 in the morning, and then we're up at 8 o'clock to do more podcasts. So you've got to do them. You've got to get the people to come on. You've got to organise it. You've got to travel. You've got to do things, and it's just they're hard work, aren't they? Yeah. But it's worth it. I always say we can't have a podcast if you don't watch them. Yeah. So we love the moon. You watch the podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Without us, we can shut out there. We can help people because of the past we've had, and we've had the experience of what we do. It's like a school teacher going to be a school teacher or a doctor. They have to do 5 years. We've got the past of. I've got 30 odd years of probably doing what I did before. So if we can help you, we can help you. But we can't help you if you don't want to be helped. You can only help someone if they want to meet you halfway. I want to help this, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you have to stop saying you're going to do it. I'll start next week, I'll start tomorrow. You're going to do it today. Start today and say,
don't live for tomorrow, start with today.
But tomorrow may never come. How many people do you hear? We had a friend not long ago, John Jab, he passed away. Yeah. And he'd sleep, you know what I mean? He was only 40-year-old.
Asthma,
Asthma, and absolute gutted we were. He was coming on the show and he passed away. And I still see his name, and I've still got his number on the phone of him, but like I say, the memories we had were good memories with him. But if you've got friends out there and family that you haven't spoken to for years and years, don't go and be the better man, like Paul said, or better woman. Go and say, I'm sorry about that. It was my fault. Even if it isn't your fault, just make it look like your